Fauxi the Fox, an original publication by Paul's Treehouse Publishing, narrated by Paul Siegel. Once upon a time, long ago before the time of men, there lived animals with the ability to speak various languages, including English. In a dense forest, rabbits lived alongside foxes, often at odds with one another, as you might imagine. On a crisp autumn day where dazzling and colorful leaves carpeted the ground, a weathered and gray rabbit named Scepter happened upon a hollow log nestled on the forest floor. Keep his name in mind, for it holds significance in our tale. The log was long and wide, but its interior was shrouded in darkness. Dark places made good hiding spots for rabbits, but this wise fellow felt unease and carried on without going inside it. Soon after, a more curious rabbit appeared. Its fur gleamed untouched, a pristine white reminiscent of freshly fallen snow, and it was as soft as the finest cotton. The rabbit thought about seeking shelter within the log's confines, but uncertainty filled its mind. Instead of acting on its thoughts, it pondered and hesitated at the entrance. A fox then approached and greeted the rabbit, intrigued by its hesitation.
"Hello there," said the fox. "Why do you stand pondering before the opening?"
The rabbit, lost in thought, tried to explain his apprehension. It was afraid and unsure if the log was safe. The fox listened and then pondered the rabbit's concern.
Your caution is reasonable," the fox mused. "Tell you what, I'll venture inside and determine if it is truly safe. Then you'll know."
With those words, the fox entered the log and disappeared into the darkness. After a moment, it reappeared on the other end, assuring the rabbit,
"I've explored it thoroughly. There's nothing to worry about in here. Feel free to come in."
Grateful for the fox's reassurance, the rabbit decided to enter the log. However, as it entered, it became clear that the fox's intentions were not pure. The fox had deceived the rabbit, and in the end, the rabbit found itself consumed by the fox's cunning trap. Word spread of this perilous log. Rumors about rabbits going in but never coming out. Some thought it was aliens coming from outer space abducting these rabbits. Others thought the log was some kind of portal into another dimension. But regardless of the story they heard, rabbits learned to be wary, avoiding the log and its dangers altogether. But the fox was not easily deterred. It concocted a new scheme, transforming the log into a colorful and enticing rabbit funhouse. The once dark interior was now fully lit and decorated with friendly adornments and treats. Signs proudly declared, "Under new management," and invitations were extended to all rabbit communities to come and enjoy this newfound haven of fun. One rabbit came running back to the town and cried, "It's true! The log is no longer dark! Someone has taken charge of it!" Rabbits from near and far flocked to the rabbit house, lured by the promise of amusement. Unfortunately, many of them fell victim to the fox's deceitful ploy, meeting their end within the log's deceptive walls. Over time, the rabbits that had been trusting and naive went extinct, leaving behind only the wise and wary survivors, who now recognized the fox's trickery and had grown out of silly stories about aliens and wormholes. Not one to give up, the orange fox devised a new plot. This time it teamed up with a grayish-blue fox, and together they terrorized the rabbit town. The blue fox would strike fear into the rabbits' hearts, while the old fox played the role of the valiant hero, swooping in to save the day. The rabbits admired and honored the old fox for its bravery, believing it had undergone a profound transformation and risked its own life to protect theirs. To show gratitude, the honored fox invited all the rabbits to a grand banquet, prepared especially for them, in the lavishly decorated log. As the rabbits basked in the joyful atmosphere, their laughter and camaraderie echoed throughout the woods. Just as the merriment reached its peak, a figure emerged from the shadows. A rabbit, with fur as gray as the mist and eyes that held a glint of unyielding skepticism. This was Scepter. a rabbit who had always maintained his reservations about the fox, despite the apparent change in fortune. Scepter hopped forward, his ears perked up, and his whiskers twitching with an intensity that mirrored his concern. He looked around at the jubilant rabbits and took a deep breath, gathering the courage to speak up.
"Wait, my fellow rabbits,"
He began, his voice tinged with urgency.
"I implore you, do not forget the fox's deceitful past. Remember how it deceived us before and led our kind to sorrow."
The woods fell silent, and all eyes turned toward Scepter. The joyous expressions on the faces of the other rabbits began to wane as his words settled in. But before Scepter could continue, a wave of dismissive laughter erupted from the crowd.
"Oh, Scepter, always the conspiracy theorist,"
one rabbit scoffed.
"Haven't you seen how the fox has changed? He saved us from danger and brought us here to celebrate."
Another rabbit chimed in, rolling its eyes.
"Come on, Scepter, give it a rest. We're finally living the good life, thanks to the fox. Why ruin it with your unfounded suspicions?"
Scepter's whiskers drooped, and his determined gaze didn't waver. He was undeterred by the chorus of skepticism around him.
"I speak not out of baseless paranoia,"
he retorted,
"but out of a need to protect our kind. I fear that the fox's actions may not be as altruistic as they seem. We must not let our guard down."
The fox seized a megaphone, its voice reverberating through the air, drowning out Scepter's earnest words. The rabbit's attention snapped back to the charismatic fox as it launched into a melodious song, its mesmerizing melody luring them deeper into the waiting jaws of the log. As they settled in and Scepter's cries faded into a distant echo, the two foxes revealed their true colors. Emerging as allies from both ends of the log, they mercilessly consumed every last rabbit that remained.